and a warm welcome to Dodger's Trips. I'm Dodger, and I'm back in Hotel 1815. The Waterloo Campaign is coming to a close, and what a campaign it's been. It's been 55 years in the making, and I've more or less got to see everything that I wanted to see, everything that I'd read about, and built up in my mind that sort of legendary locations such as Hougoumont Farm, Le Haye Saint Farm, and La Belle Alliance, the inn, and also some bonus places such as Napoleon's last headquarters, that farm on the road to Ganap, and also Wellington's HQ in the village, or now the town of Waterloo. So I've been absolutely thrilled to fulfil them boyhood ambitions, to come and see those places that I read about, that I devoured the pictures of the fighting in those places, the war games that I did as a kid, pretending to reenact the Battle of Waterloo, not in a serious way, but in a boy's way. And I remember went to Paris in 1984 with Sandy, and I bought a Napoleon bust in white marble. It's absolutely beautiful. I kept it under wraps for years and years because I didn't want it to be out on display, risk it getting it broken or becoming dirty or whatever. Anyway, a few years ago I did get that out from wraps, and I've got it on display in my house now. But yeah, I mean, you can go mad in these gift shops, can't you? At these sort of places like the visitor centre here at the battlefield itself. The Wellington HQ museum was a really good shop as well. So many, but I'm going to buy some books when I get back home. Hopefully, I'll have a few recommendations from people that can tell me which books I need to be sort of searching out and buying. But I can see myself doing quite a bit of reading about Waterloo when I get home. I'm also going to be watching the Ridley Scott recent biograph film featuring Joaquin Phoenix and the Rod Steiger with his wonderfully over-the-top, passionate Napoleon, and Christopher Plummer as Wellington, the Iron Duke. So tomorrow morning, I start the journey home. I finally, on the very last day, sussed out how to say the name of the town which I'm near. Braine-l'Alleud, as in Waterloo. It's spelled brain with an E on the end, L, and then A-L-L-U-D, I think it is. But the lady in the gift shop today at the museum, she said you don't pronounce the D. So I think I've been trying to say Braine-l'Alleud, but it's Braine-l'Alleud. You don't pronounce the D. So Braine-l'Alleud is the nearest town to the battlefield. And yet we've discovered that because Wellington wrote his victory dispatch to the British government in the village of Waterloo, that's how it became known as the Battle of Waterloo. So I hope you've learnt something along the way, these few videos that I've done of this trip. And if you have any interest in this Napoleonic campaign, the Battle of Waterloo, I would strongly recommend you come. It's, although I've read through the years, people have been bemoaning changes to the battlefield, damage being done to the battlefield. The first thing, of course, would have been the Lion Mound, but also when they've been resurfacing or widening the highway. Parts of historic significant parts of the battlefield have been damaged and erased. But for me, it's everything that I hoped it would be and more. I would love to come back in June, 1 June, when they have all the reenactors and they have the soldiers camping out and what have you. But we know that there was torrential rain, don't we, on the eve of the battle, and the soldiers just had to try and find shelter from however they could manage it. That would have been more or less a losing battle before the battle. But trying to, there's no way they could have stayed dry. But imagine you've walked all the way here from Paris. You're then drenched to the skin. Well, you've already fought maybe a couple of battles, small battles before Waterloo in the days preceding. You're drenched to the skin. You can't get to sleep at night because it's too cold. And then the next day, you've got to face the Allied army. And it would have been the same for the British as well. They wouldn't have probably had much shelter from the weather. And yet, you have to raise your game and go again, I suppose. And when your life's in peril, them situations, you raise the bar, don't you, and rise to the occasion. But how draining it must have been, especially for the veterans. They would have been through it before, I know, but age just catch up with you. Even Napoleon, he was struggling. He struggled to get his boots off on the evening. He had to get help to get his boots off because his boots were so soaking. His cocked hat had sort of flapped back at and was touching his collar at the back, which looked comical and made his soldiers laugh. But you can see, if Napoleon needed help getting his boots off, and he wouldn't have been tramping around in it like the infantry. So come if you got any interest. It's 2 hours by Eurostar from London to Brussels, half an hour train from Brussels to Braine-l'Alleud, and you're here at the battlefield. I do hope I can get back one day. As I say, if I was going to come back, I would maybe come when there's activities on. There'll be encampments, British camps and the French camps. It would be interesting to see them reenact the battle in some small way. Here's some cannon. Watch the cannons going off and muskets firing and what have you. Be very good. So tomorrow I've got a lot of travelling back. I've had to allow sort of 2 or 3 hours in between each train because you just can't be relying on trains to run on time or to not be cancelled. So I've got a lot of hanging around. I think my Eurostar leaves Brussels about 10 to 3 in the afternoon. And of course, I'm gaining an hour when I go back. So in effect, it'll only be like a 1 hour journey because England's one hour behind. So 10 to 3, I'll get to London for 10 to 4. And I don't think my train from London is until about 7:30, 8 o'clock time. So that's going to be a 3 hour journey. So it's going to be 11 o'clock back into Bradford if all things go well. But there we are. The joys of travelling. So as I say, hope you've enjoyed them. Until the next one, Dutch.